This is Eagle Al, and today I will be talking about the defensive coordinators. They are officially fired, and we looking at some good names. Look like we finally ready to get out of that Vic Fangio stuff. Also, we're gonna talk about Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts, hearing that their relationship has soured. We talking about a guy that knew a guy since he was like 4, but let's get straight into it. All right. Nate Sirianni. Nate Sirianni did the right thing. He had to fire the defensive coordinators. You know, Matt Patricia's gone. Sean Desai is gone. That was the bold move. Actually, before I get deep into this topic, did you see Jason Kelsey at the Bills and Chiefs game? Man, look, when Jason Kelsey decide to hang it up, I'm telling you, he's going to be turned at Eagles games. But hopefully that's no time soon. Hopefully that's in another year or two. But man, Jason Kelsey was turned up. I mean, he took the spotlight from Taylor Swift. Everybody was focused on Kelsey. He was hopping in the crowd, chilling with the Bills fans at the tailgate. I mean, shout out to Jason Kelsey, man. He's just a man of the people. But let's get into these topics. Defensive coordinators again fired. Matt Patricia, Sean Desai. Bound to happen. We had one of the worst defense in the NFL, if not the worst I seen defense in the NFL. I think our defense was worse than the Panthers, was worse than any team in the NFL. The Cardinals, even though they was ranked 32nd, we should have been 32nd. That's how bad I think the defense was. So yeah, again, they are let go according to Diana Rossini, and these are the names we were looking at. So I'm gonna go over her tweet. All right, as expected, the Eagles fired defensive coordinator Sean Desai, Ian Rappaport first. Over the last week, both Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni been reaching out to available coordinators, including former Giant Wink Martindale and Falcons defensive coordinator Ryan Nelson. But there's more. All right, so we know the other more, like Denard Wilson. We hear that it was reports coming out that Nick Sirianni made a bad move by letting go Denard Wilson. But they let Nick Sirianni get more control, in my opinion, and he let go Denard Wilson. He wanted to go a different direction. How you want to go a different direction and quote unquote your defense was ranked high and you keep the same offense with your defense ranked high? You was better off just moving up from both sides of the ball and seeing what happened. But again, he let go Sean Desai and Matt Patricia, and then looking at Wink Martindale and Ryan Nelson. Now we know what Wink Martindale bring: blitz, blitz, blitz. You know, it's time in Baltimore. Like the first 4 years, the defense was ranked like second, third, second, but then it dropped all the way to 19th. But I did hear that his defense, when it was ranked 19th with Baltimore in 2021, it was a lot of injuries, according to Outside the Birds. And we know he was with the Giants, but he did the best he can do with that group. I mean, they don't really have any names, but they always played for Wink Martindale. Hell, Wink Martindale always gave us problems. But am I a huge supporter of Wink Martindale coming here? I'm like 60-40. Like, I won't be too mad at it. It'd definitely be a different look. But with Wink Martindale, I will say this. He will leave his corners on the island. He would definitely leave his corners on the island. And because of that, it can expose us a lot because he liked to bring the blitz. And I'm pretty sure James Bradbury's not on that level anymore. And this Slay's only getting older. So you want some decent corners with Wink Martindale. Because if you don't have decent corners with Wink Martindale, your defense is going to fail. But the other name they brought up, Ryan Nelson, is an interesting name with Atlanta. He had a pretty decent defense, but we know Atlanta, it's not really the big market. But this is some of the rank as far as Ryan Nelson's defense. All right, Ryan Nelson Falcons were 10th in the NFL in pressure rate at 23%, despite blitzing only 17 most in the NFL. So he was in the middle in blitz. That's pretty good, but it was the pressure rates again there. So imagine if he got the Hassan Reddits, the Josh Sweats, Jalen Carter, even like Milton Williams or the Jordan Davises of the world. And then Nelson's Falcons allowed the third fewest yards after the catch with 1,609 yards. So that's really good too, because what we struggled at tackling, and a lot of teams got yards after the catch against us, and the eighth fewest passing yards with 3,449 last season. That's really good. So he got a really good pass defense. He blitzed just enough. And I like this. I like that the Eagles reached out to him. So it's a meanwhile, outside the Birds put out, meanwhile, while the Eagles allowed the fifth most yards after the catch with 2,271 and the second most passing yards with 4,296 last season. So safe to say, our defense sucked last season. It sucked. And we just need a different scheme. Like Vic Fangio defense is just not it anymore. It's not it. Look at his coaching tree that's in the NFL. I don't think nobody's in the top 10. And I think himself is like 18. So it's time to get out that system. And I'm very happy. Like the three names I heard so far being linked to us, Denard Wilson, Wink Martindale, and Ryan Nelson, really good defensive coordinators. But as Diana Rossini is definitely more, I just don't want nobody from that Vic Fangio. Nobody at all. So shout out to Nick Sirianni. But the question is, none of this matter, right? If Brian Johnson is still on the roster. So what's going on with Brian Johnson? Because I know I put out a report yesterday basically saying that it's going to be defensive coordinator change, which happened. But the thing with Brian Johnson is really, in the gray area. The reason why I say that is because the Eagles don't want to officially put out bad reports about Brian Johnson because Brian Johnson is going on head coaching interviews. And this is what Jeff McClain had to say as far as offensive coordinator Brian Johnson. So offensive coordinator Brian Johnson is currently interviewing for head coaching openings. So the Eagles won't do anything to hinder his chances, but he could be the next major domino to fall, according to Mike Garafalo. It's going to happen. He's going to leave one way or another. It's either he's going to get hired somewhere and do that, or he's going to get fired. Like, it's no way we keep Brian Johnson. And also, there were reports out there like, look, Nick Sirianni could stay, but he got to fire the coordinators. He got to fire both coordinators. That's what Jeffrey Lurie is saying, and that's what Howie Roseman is saying as well. So if Brian Johnson find another job as a head coach again, it will be a new offensive coordinator. So I don't like the Jim Bob Cooter guy because, it's going to still be a Nick Sirianni offense. But if you can get an established guy, there's no leaks or no names because Brian Johnson is not officially off the staff. But you got to get somebody that's established and that will tell Nick Sirianni, hell no. Oh, I want to run this type of, somebody be like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we're not going to hear any leaks, to be honest, about offensive coordinators no time soon until at least Brian Johnson is gone. The faster he goes, the faster we start hearing rumors about offensive coordinators. But the main objective is that he's going to be going. I don't care how he's going to be going. Because the reports about him and Jalen Hurts, not good. They saying that Jalen Hurts was upset because A.J. Brown was hurt and they went pass heavy against the Buccaneers. Jalen Hurts was really upset about that. And like Jalen Hurts, the offense was so bad that Brian Johnson and these dudes was calling Jalen Hurts had to freelance damn near the whole season. He had to freelance the whole season because the play calling was so bad between Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. That's not good. That's not good at all. And then, as I reported, their relationship soured. We talking about Brian Johnson that knew Jalen Hurts since a kid, and he's like, nah, this ain't it. Because think what Jalen Hurts is thinking, right? My knee been hurt most of the year. You're running a bunch of QB draws. That's not good. Then my middle finger gets hurt. And you know what? We're gonna go past happy in the next game. He's literally saying my finger's in pain. So that's why he called it out in the press conference. He letting it be known to the world, like, look, my finger is in pain. And usually quarterbacks or players try to hide their injuries so other teams won't attack it. But he let it be known, like, yo, this ain't up to me. If you see us throw the ball 50, 60 times, of course I'm over exaggerating, 50, 60 times, this is, the play calling. And we want pass happy. Pass happy. And also, this is what I was thinking too. This is the only way we possibly can keep DeAndre Swift. I believe if we get rid of Brian Johnson, DeAndre Swift will really think about coming back because he want to be utilized. He want to be utilized. We're talking about a guy that had games under 10 rushes. Then he had games where he just completely exploded. Like, come on. Come on, man. He had over 1,000 yards. He already had 800 yards by like, what, week 9, week 10. I only finished with 1,000. Come on, man. Come on, Brian Johnson and y'all. Why y'all not utilizing the top 5 back in this league? That's insane to me. That's insane to me. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? So, good news is the coordinators will be gone. Bad news is I guess it's the waiting process. Brian Johnson, somebody hired a man. Somebody hire him so we can just go on to the next chapter of Philadelphia Eagles football. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm out.